Hello and welcome to Raising Those Spirits. I'm Steve,
And I'm Sam.
and we're back without a break. Did we not take a break again? Did we actually do two episodes in a row?
We did. We did two episodes in a row without either of us getting a respiratory illness. Pretty rare these days.
I had it last week. I had it on
That's
an
good.
off week we were recording for once.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Uh, my kid went to her cousin's birthday party last weekend and came back with a cold, but she recovered from it pretty quick. I ended up not catching it, which I usually do when I go down to my parents' house. We almost always come back sick. So it was delightful to not get sick this time. Very
Yeah,
nice.
we've been going to so many birthday parties recently, which is one of the reasons I have not been in good health. But yeah, it's
Oh,
almost a
it's nice
guarantee.
knowing. Yeah, it's nice knowing your kid is popular and gets invited to parties. But we were at one of those trampoline places.
Yeah.
Not for my niece's birthday, but at another one of her friends' birthday. On Saturday this week, and I hate those places. They are just it just feels like everything's covered in a certain level of filth.
Yeah, we had this. We used to go to the trampoline park a lot when my son was younger. And because this one trampoline park has like toddler time on Sunday mornings, so from like 9 to 11 or something, it was like just little kids. But also they had just opened, so it had been desanitized and cleaned from the night before.
Always nice.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, toddler time is the best because I don't feel as gross here. Yeah, my son
Yeah.
was at one of those ones. It looks like a giant McDonald's play place. You know what I mean? It's just like that's the whole building,
hmm
and I'm like that. Sure, it's a blast, but like that has to be the germiest place on earth.
Yeah. I mean, coupled with the fact that you sign all these waivers that are like, I'm not gonna sue if my kid gets hurt. And everything is designed to injure these places. Like, how do you get any insurance at all? Like, how does this waiver even hold up if this place is seemingly designed to injure children? At one point, my daughter and her friends decided to play hide and seek, and me and the other friend's mom didn't realize until after the game had started. And like, we lost one of those kids for like a good couple of minutes. We had absolutely no idea where they were. I was panicked that the kid had been like trapped under a pile of foam and couldn't get out.
Oh,
Like, I looked at them after that. I was like, "You guys are not allowed to play hide and seek in this place ever again."
fair. Oh wow. Yeah, we
Never again.
I believe that. Yeah. It was fun though. I do miss going there. They actually just opened one right by us in a former Toys R Us. Funny enough, because it's still a place for kids. But
Oh, well,
I
nice
do
reuse of the space.
want to check it out because they're really good exercise. They're exhausting, but chasing kids around a trampoline park for an hour is the best cardio in the world.
Oh yeah, it tires the kid out. You can just relax in the afternoon after that.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
Good times. So you have a cryptid this week?
Oh yeah, I'm taking us to North Dakota. Gets us out of the ends. Um, for our 50 state look at the cryptids of the United States, minus a couple of the boring states, but I did find one for North Dakota, which I was a little worried it was all going to be the same sort of bog standard Bigfoot you see in every state. Because every state seemingly has a Bigfoot. But I'm going to tell you about the Bismarck alien mummy, also known as the alien mechano mummy. I don't know if you've ever heard of Meccano. They're basically it's a toy brand that is very similar to Erector sets. Is what I remember from a kid, but it's the same sort of thing. Um, so this story comes from August 27th, 1975. Bismarck, North Dakota. A woman was driving along I-94 in Bismarck, very, very early in the morning when suddenly she lost an hour of time. Classic UFO sort of stuff. And after she realized that not only had she lost time, but she was, driving the car and her daughter was in the back seat. Next thing she knows, the car is stopped and she's in the back seat and her daughter is in the driver's seat, indicating that something strange had happened. Um, she got herself to a gas station and found that an hour had passed and she hadn't noticed it. And originally, it was in her perspective was 4 o'clock in the morning, and suddenly it was 5 o'clock in the morning. Over time, she was able to regain her memories of that lost hour. And the way she recalled it was she was abducted. Her and her family were abducted by aliens and were experimented on a spaceship. The way she describes it, it reminds me very much of that Kate McGinnon's Saturday Night Live sketch, where the UFO abductee is describing their experience. So it sounds very much like that, where they were experimented on and very strange thing happened. Strange things happened. Unique to this UFO abduction story is the way she describes the aliens, describing them as mummy-like. I think having like bulging eyes and sunken in features. Their skin was covered with mummy like wrappings as well. And their limbs, instead of being uh, flesh, were something akin to what she described as being like mechano. So looking like erector set pieces. So some sort of half alien mummy, half robot creature that abducted her and did experiments. But we know this person's name. Their name is Sandra Larson. She's the one who describes having had this encounter. Um, and it is considered one of the more influential stories in alien abductions. Um, uh, that's 1975. A lot of alien abductions have been described kind of similar since, although these aliens seem pretty unique. And people think that she was probably either mentally ill or hallucinating, is the going theory in the good old skeptic crowd. Um, Maybe it was aliens. Who knows? But that is the mummy mechano alien of Bismarck, North Dakota.
Uh, okay. I mean,
I
the
like
the
it.
the
I
erector
like it
set
because it's unique.
arms could really just be like they're using instruments to do it. Like doctors have like little um surgery robots that can do finer work than they can.
Oh, sure. I mean, my first thought was Dr. Octopus, right? Like, I mean, we're talking about a guy that, he can't touch those things because he's dealing with crazy physics or whatever, and he builds himself a bunch of octopus arms out of metal. That's the same idea. I think they were cyborgs,
My
or they had
Well,
good
yeah,
instruments. Yeah.
they could have just been like controlling. Like I have more finesse with a machine than I do with whatever my alien appendage is. But uh, I
Yeah, I
just,
mean, we're getting pretty close to that on Earth. So
yeah,
not a crazy theory, not a crazy idea.
I just cannot get over the fact that all of this took an hour. You had to swoop down to Earth, abduct some people, get
That was
back
the part
into
of the
the
story that I found. Yeah, I found the most absurd. I was like, "There's no way they did that in an hour. There's no way that happened."
like the movie Fire in the Sky. Like that guy was gone for like a few days.
Totally. No,
Yeah,
it does not make sense that it was only an hour, unless there's some sort of like time travel component or time freezing component.
but
I
if
think that
that,
comes up a lot in the X Files.
yeah, I don't know. That would just seem weird. I'm just like, they can't be going that
Or that would
thorough.
be That part of it would be weird. Not the erector set aliens.
Yeah, I have other questions that are plaguing me. I don't need to worry about the main ones. Other people have those taken care of.
Mm-hmm. No, no, that's fair. I mean, hey, let's stick with a healthy dose of skepticism, but you never know. There could be mummy aliens flying over North Dakota right now. Look to the skies, people, or the pyramids, or your local hobby shop. They could be lurking anywhere. And that's North Dakota. Steve, what are you drinking this week, Steve?
So, our movie this week is Disney's The Black Cauldron. Uh, s-
Okay.
so I am doing a black and tan. Haven't had a black and tan in a while, and their Yingling makes a good one. So that is my thing because I was like, it's so hard to find any non super complicated cocktail when you're looking for anything black or cauldron related. It's always like witch's brew, blah blah blah. Go to the store and get one of the big carts, and I'm like, come on, man.
I almost did one of I found something. It was called the Black Cauldron, and it involved activated charcoal. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that, but I have everything other than activated charcoal. But it also involved tequila, which I am apparently out of, which is shocking for me because I was in tequila. So I ended up not doing a Sam half-assed version of that drink. I was like, oh, I wonder if I could get like liquid smoke. Is that going to taste the same as the charcoal? And no,
It would
probably
not.
not.
It definitely not.
But I did pick a drink that I had all the ingredients for without having to make anything up, and that was the sweet and sour sorcery, which I found on a website that I didn't write down the name of the website. So if you're looking for it, you can look it up. Sweet and sour sorcery, and it is 2 ounces of vodka, 1 ounce of fresh lemon juice. I did not have fresh lemon juice. I had the little squeezy thing that you get at the supermarket. 1 ounce of simple syrup, half an ounce of triple sec, a dash of bitters, mixed with ice, mixed over ice and then poured into a glass. And I would describe that as delightful, very good, and certainly I drank it tonight before the call, and I did not drink it with the movie, but I think they would pair very well. You know, the bitters along with that sweet and sour, really, it was a really good flavor.
All right, good
Yeah,
find.
that was a good fun. Now I'm gonna make that again. I'm gonna make that again. I liked it a lot. Ugh, holy moly, the Black Cauldron.
Yeah, did you ever read the books?
No, I never read any of the books.
The books were. I loved the books as a kid. They were really good. This movie is a loose adaptation of the first two.
Okay. Okay.
Incredibly loose. Like Game of Thrones season 7 by the end. Like,
Just make it up as we go
like you're
along.
just making it up at this point. Yeah. But there is a reason for that. So this movie they worked on for over a decade. Because the series was written in like 66, 68, something like that, and they bought the rights like by 70. And then it just kind of kept getting backburnered, even though they were working on it. And then it was almost done, it was ready to go. And the same guy that took over at Disney that torched um, Return to Oz was like, this is also too dark and scary. And he literally stole a copy and started just editing, like Elon Musk style. And yeah, so they went through so many last minute changes. It's Disney's first PG, but it had an R rating initially, and then they had to work really hard to get it off of PG 13.
Yeah, man. I can't, I would love to see the R version of this.
Right? I'm like, come on. This and the Ninja Turtles movie. Give me the rated R versions.
The rated R version of the Ninja Turtles movie would be truly a work of art.
Do you know about
Not
that?
that it is. No, I have not heard of it.
Oh,
Was there an R-rated cover of Ninja Turtles?
Ninja Turtles wasn't supposed to be a kids movie.
Well, I think that's pretty clear, even in the cut that we did get.
Yes, but that's why April O'Neil and Casey Jones didn't come back for the second one, because
Oh, really?
they were real mad because it was not the movie they released was not the movie they made. They made one based off of the 80s comics with like the
Oh,
dark and the gritty. Like still like funny and loose, but like it was a much more serious um movie. Like I mean Casey Jones kills that guy at the end. That
that's just
goes
straight up murder the Shredder in the
yeah,
movie.
and it fit
It's
the tone
very
of the
casual.
original movie. But then like Ninja Turtles exploded with the kids, and they cut it into a kids movie. And so, but out there,
Probably the right financial call,
it was the
honestly.
right
I
financial
would.
call. But I won it. That cut exists. They filmed it. I won it. Like,
I want. I also want it. That sounds wonderful.
yeah.
All right,
So
let's not go down that road. Let's not dream too much of the Ninja Turtles movie that wasn't. Although I will say I just downloaded Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge for Nintendo Switch, and that movie and that video game rocks.
awesome. I've heard good
But let's
things.
not talk about let's not talk about too much Ninja Turtles until we have a Ninja Turtles episode, which now I'm saying we must do.
All right, my son is super into Ninja Turtles recently. He's watched the movies and he is obsessed.
All right. Upcoming. Not next time. We have a plan for next time, but sometime soon we'll do Ninja Turtles. We're talking about Black Cauldron.
Yeah, so Black Cauldron got down to PG, but so it's not by the what we ended up getting is not really faithful to the books at all. Um, the broadest of strokes, mainly, and it was still good. Like as just a Disney movie, like The Sword in the Stone or anything from that, I think it holds up. It's beautiful. They used like some ridiculous. They used over 1,000 different hues and colors, and 34 miles of film stock to film this thing.
My goodness.
Yeah, so like it was gorgeously done, and there was a few laughs. Like it was not bad for the adults in the room. My son has watched it multiple times since the initial viewing. Uh,
Oh wow.
yeah, so into it. He is so into it. Like he got home from preschool yesterday and was like, "Can I watch the Black Cauldron?" So yeah, I my kid's kind of a soft kid. Like he likes spooky stuff, but he's still kind of a soft kid. And he was just like, "This is fine," because I hear a lot of people think it's like too dark, too scary, but my kid was fine with it.
Oh, this is one that I didn't try watching with my daughter. I didn't think that she would get into it. I think that was the right call. For her, I wanted to like this movie more than I ended up liking, and I think knowing now that it was a very watered down version of something else, I think that makes a lot of sense because I wanted more to happen in it. I mean the animation is beautiful. It's beautiful. Everything in this movie is beautiful. The character designs I think are incredible. Um, and the animation is beautiful. But I was just waiting for something more to happen.
Yeah, and that's like the books are so packed. I was like, how is this not exhilarating? Because you're covering two books in one like 90-minute movie. You'd think it would just be non-stop, but it has a pretty chill pacing throughout it.
Yeah, it's a little slow. Um, The act. I mean, there's a couple of good action sequences. The escape from the dungeon, in the final fight with the oh, I don't remember any of
The
his name.
Horned King,
Skeleton face. A horned king. I keep wanting to call him Skeletor.
John
But
Hurt.
yeah, John. Good. It's good. John Hurt. I mean,
He
I'm a
was
John Hurt fan.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, this is very good, John Hurt. Um, I think one of my problems with this is, and this is not the fault of the movie at all, is it's so much like Zelda. And this comes up in Legend. I feel like we've had a run of these. It's so much like Zelda that I want it to be Zelda, that it's not.
Yeah, there was an urban legend that this inspired The Legend of Zelda, and it's not true. Um,
No, the timing is wrong because they're
Timing is wrong.
basically in development. They were in development at the same time. There's no way that the Zelda could have. There's no way the people who were working on Zelda could have seen this and then incorporated elements of it into the game between its initial release and Zelda coming out. It's not enough time.
And we had this exact same conversation because this rumor also exists about Legend,
Yeah.
which came out the same year and had the same issue.
So I wonder, I mean, like, could there have been, but you're saying that it's completely different from the books. So I was gonna say, if there was a translation of the book that was available in Japan and it would described a lot of this same sort of stuff, I could see it. Because I mean,
Oh,
the character design, it's so similar. Sorry, go ahead.
it's all based on Welsh folklore.
So that makes sense.
Yes,
So
so
if it's
Japan,
based on something that old,
yeah, yeah. This whole thing is it's a Welsh like King Arthur type of story world. It's just he turned it into a fantasy series.
yeah. I mean, there was a moment because there's a moment when he gets a hold of the sword, and he's able to power up the sword in this movie and use it like basically a laser attack almost. And I was like, man, that's right out of Zelda. But I was like, but it isn't because they were being developed at the same time. But I that just kept being very surprising. Um, so Zelda like it is not Zelda.
The the even weirder part is I don't think the sword's in the book.
So that okay, so that was made up for the movie.
I think so. If the sword is in the book, it is in the first book, and he ends up giving it to their equivalency of Aragorn pretty quickly. He does not hold on to the sword, use the sword. He he eventually has to make his own sword. That's how I know he doesn't have a cool magic one, because you don't spend time learning to be a blacksmith to make yourself a sword if you have
Mm.
a cool magic sword.
Yeah. I mean the coincidences are wild, but they're coincidences. There's no I mean someone out there prove me wrong, but I don't think there's
Time
any
travel.
conceivable way. Yeah, I don't think there's any conceivable way this movie comes out and it's known to the people who are making Zelda and they have enough time to incorporate any kind of elements into the release of that game. But man, are they similar.
Very.
But
It's
you know
like,
what
it's great.
Zelda doesn't have?
What?
I was gonna say a magic pig, but that's probably not even true. Because Ganon's a pig for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, the
There's
orcs
a
are
lot of pig
pigmen.
stuff. Oh man, there are magic pigs in Zelda. It's wild.
It
Magic pig though, I like magic pig.
Henwen, yeah. Henwen, you feel like Henwen's gonna be a bigger part of both the movie and the books. Just, I don't know, it seems like she should be a bigger, more important part of the world. She can see the freaking future. She can locate
Yeah,
magical objects. Feel like she
it's a
shouldn't be
fortune telling
sidelined.
pig. It's a fortune telling pig, and that's one of the things that I've never seen that in a movie before. It's like, oh, we protect this pig specifically because this pig tells the future. What an element of a story. I don't. I mean, does that from? Do you know? Is that from Welsh mythology? Does that come from
Oh,
mythology, or is that made up for this book?
I
So
do not remember that one. Welsh is the one I'm least familiar with from that whole Celtic Gaelic, all that English, Saxon, all this. There was like 30 countries there back then, and Wales is its own weird little thing, kind of like their language.
Steve, were you familiar with this movie at all growing up?
No,
This was my very first time seeing it.
I found out this movie existed when we were in college. Immediately drove to Blockbuster and rented it, and that was the only time I'd ever seen it.
Because it wasn't available when we were kids. This comes out in '85,
And
and then it didn't get a I don't it didn't get a home video release. I think until something like '98,
98.
which that seems very
And it was released on VHS in 98, and that was during the DVD conversion.
right. So that's just as VHS is dying, it gets its first VHS release. So they really didn't make it available at all, which I mean, it's not so. I don't know why that would be. Like, I wonder if they just really didn't think there was going to be a market for it, and then that's why it was. They didn't want to invest in releasing it. But I think if this had been on VHS when I was a kid, I would have seen it.
Absolutely. I would have been all over this as a kid. Because, again, I
But
loved the books. I loved, like, The Sword and the Stone is the only Disney movie I can think of that is even close to like this. Um,
yeah, and that came out like in the '70s. That's another one I've actually never seen.
yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot as a kid. I feel like I wouldn't as much as an adult, but who's to
I've
say?
only seen. I don't know that I've even seen the Robin Hood Disney Robin Hood. I think I might have watched that once.
I always hated the
Um,
Disney Robin Hood.
yeah. So so this. I mean, this not being available for such a long time is so funny to me because it doesn't have a nostalgic history for our generation like so much other stuff does. Like definitely the Robin Hood, the Disney's Robin Hood had a real impact on our generation. Again, I never saw it, but there were so many people when we were growing up that were super into that movie. Um, I feel like this could have been part of that, but because it wasn't available for such a long time, people our age who are right in there would be right the age to be nostalgic for it are not.
It's
So
like
we
a
don't you
fever
never even
dream.
hear yeah, you don't even hear about the Black Cauldron. It's not in the conversation of nostalgia that's so important to millennials, um, because we're such a we're the nostalgia generation really because we never gave up on our old stuff. Like we're the generation that just kept watching our old VHS tapes and never like moved on from them. And this movie doesn't fit into that pantheon because it was not available.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like this is one of those things where it was like you could only get it at conventions, like bootleg for a long time. That's how I got my initial copy of The Last Unicorn, because that was hard to come by too.
Oh, really? I remember the last Unicorn being on VHS as a
It
kid.
was, but I think it like wasn't printed for a while between like the 80s and the late 90s, so like if you didn't have a
Oh,
copy, you know what I mean?
yeah, that whatever company that was is equivalent of the Disney Vault.
Yeah.
Because that was always the thing, like, oh, it's gonna go back to the vault, and that just meant like, oh, we're doing a limited run of it, and then you're gonna do another limited run of whatever this is.
Yeah, wait like 20 years. We'll get to it. So, yeah, I'm glad that you finally got to see it after all this time. But
Yeah, glad you watched it.
I was reading up on it, and apparently one of the reasons that they didn't just release the original one is because they had literally cut all the film. They could only make it shorter. They couldn't make it longer. All that film was destroyed.
Oof.
Yeah, so like when that guy grabbed it was like, I'll do my own cut. A lot of the film got like cut and
It's just gone.
yeah, it's just gone. They were like they actually hired someone to try and fix it and they were like, "No, it's not we literally cut the film. The film is unusable now for those sections. Like you'd have to refilm it." So,
Oh, that was a long, arduous process back then. Because
yeah.
I was just reading about a Goofy movie, which that's getting like its 30th anniversary release this year or whatever it is. And one of the problems they ran into on that production was the way they would do animation at that time is you would put the animation cells, basically you put together the image and put it on a monitor, and then aim a film camera at the monitor and hit the button to take each individual frame. And one of the monitors they were using for a Goofy movie had a dead pixel in it, and it ended up delaying the movie for
Oh,
months because they had to go back and redo all of that animation with a different monitor.
that's horrible.
Right. And that's when the movie is still in production. If it had been happened after the movie had ostensibly wrapped, I don't know that. A situation like where somebody actually destroyed like the film, it's not recoverable. There's no way to like get it back into production at that point.
Yeah, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah. That's really sad. All the Disney remakes, and I don't go out of my way to see them. Um, I didn't see the new Snow White. I was just like, I
I
can't do
haven't seen any
it.
of them.
Um, and they're usually really bad. This, I think, is something that should get something. This is something I could see a purpose to doing a live action remake of. Um, because the visuals are so good. I think the story. I mean, I'd love to see what the original edit was, but I think it's so close to having a more captivating story and a more exciting story. I don't think it would take a lot to kind of ratchet it up. And just like the imagery of this is so good. I
And
think you could do a live action version of this.
honestly, yeah, if you do it almost like they did like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because there's 5 books. Like you could just do the whole series, make this the next Harry Potter, but it would be a lot cheaper because just a lot of the stuff is more like Game of Thrones mundane than like fully magical. You know what I mean? Like there is that
Sure.
stuff, but for the most part, it's just like you're running around a castle. You're it's not going to cost that kind of money.
No. I do wonder if there would be a point in making it now because I think there's a Zelda movie that is coming out,
There is.
and so it's like, do you strike while the iron's hot and these kind of movies are popular, or you just forget about it forever?
I mean,
Um,
it's still a popular franchise. It's not as popular as it was, but I still see it in like every children's section. You know what I mean?
is that so? Okay, then
It's
I think they should do it.
it's in like all the young adult lists and stuff, 'cause it's very accessible. It's like a good introduction to that.
And yeah, remake the Black Cauldron. Remake a movie that deserves to get remade
This
instead of remaking movies that are good in the was. You could make Black Cauldron better.
and this was supposed to be the movie that shifted Disney, 'cause this is the first Disney movie with no singing. Like there's the characters don't sing, it's not a musical, there's not even like a scene in the background where there's like a band or something. There is no in-universe music.
I read that in the trivia, and I had a hard time believing that was going to be true until I sat down and watched it. I was like, wow, they really do not do any songs or any music in this at all.
Yeah, and I think they were going to start going like kind of more that way, but instead we got this and they went back and then we got the Lion King and Aladdin and Little Mermaid and all that great era, but this movie definitely had to die for those things to exist.
You think it would have been better with a musical element to it?
No, not at all. I think Disney could have had a really cool run of like just kind of like when they got to like Atlantis and stuff and just started like making movies.
Oh, okay.
Like I think they could have had like a cool 80s interpretation of a lot of stuff, just more serious. Like we might still have gotten Aladdin. It might just have been more like this. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I could see that happening. I could see that working. I could also understand why it didn't go that direction.
Yeah, well, this not
It's
working, I think, was like a really good excuse for them to be like, look, see, it failed because there was no music. And it's like, no, it failed because you literally cut up the film, sir. But that's.
don't tell him that. He's the boss. I don't know who this person is.
uh,
A Mangler. Movie Mangler is who that was.
I. I mean, do you want to talk about the movie at all? Do you have any like comments or questions as your first time? It was my first time having seen it in a while, but I'm very familiar with it.
I mean, like enjoyed I enjoyed the visuals. I wish the characters had been a little bit more distinct and interesting. It felt like everybody was kind of a stock fantasy character, which again, that probably explains why it ends up being so similar to Zelda because it's so stock. I
Yeah,
did not care for our little Gurgi
Gurgi's
dog
annoying
person.
even in the books.
Yeah, I
But
was like, oh, you're the Jar Jar of this. I don't care for you.
yeah, yeah, that is absolutely true. But like, it's funny to say that like there's like no interesting characters because in the books they are very interesting characters. Like the Bard is literally a dwarf in the books.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's the king of the dwarves, I think. He's like literally undercover as a spy. They arrested him as a spy and they were right. But yeah, so it's like you have all these interesting things, and yet you gave us like these stock characters. Like Taran, the main character, is kind of a stock character. That's his whole thing. That's kind of the point of the series. But everyone else is like exceptional in some way.
yeah. He felt a lot like he's our Luke Skywalker. He finds out that he has some destiny that's making him greater than what he thought his life was going to be as a pig farmer. And he goes and he does his quest, and he saves the day. And I was like, oh, I wish there'd been a little more. I wish more stuff had happened. I guess is what it ultimately comes down to.
Yes, you know, because and that's kind of what I was trying to say earlier. In that, I forget what I was gonna. What? Yeah, I forget. I got distracted.
Oh, no, that happens. That's life, man. But yeah, overall, I think it is. It's a movie worth being remade. I want to
Yes.
see the better version of this, because yeah, because I didn't grow up with it. I have no nostalgia for it. I have no strong ties to it, and there wasn't anything in it for me to watch it now as an adult to create any ties to it. So I think it could get remade. That's my opinion.
All right. I fully agree with that. I hadn't even thought of the remake aspect because Disney has just distanced itself from this movie so thoroughly. But
Yeah, I don't think they ever would remake it. I feel like they would find if they wanted to do a movie like this, or if their internal market research told them that, you know what, sword and sorcery, that's going to be the way to go. That's going to be our next big thing. They would just do King Arthur. They would do all known properties or.
yeah,
I
they would
don't think this. It wouldn't make that list.
probably not. Which is sad because it has great bones. They just,
Yeah.
you know, they slimmed it down too much. So Yeah, a lot of firsts on this. First PG, first no music. It's one of the first to use. I think it's the first to use CGI in an animated film.
Pretty amazing.
I think a lot of the special effects, like the ghosts and stuff, ended up being partly CGI, but they blended beautifully. It looked so good.
Yeah, I would say that the animation in this movie is some of the best 2D animation that Disney has done. I think this looks way better than some of the stuff that came out afterwards, especially when we get into the early 90s, even like mid 90s, when they're using CGI more heavily. You know, you sit down and you watch Aladdin today or Beauty and the Beast today, and you can see where they're incorporating that computer imagery. In this, it's seamless. I knew it was there because I'd read about it before I watched the movie, but I could not tell where it was being used.
Hmm.
Yeah, I thought the animation of this holds up way better than the stuff that came out, I think, in the following 12, 13 years or so. And maybe after that, it gets to a point where it's come, things are looking better. Like maybe once you get to Mulan, and afterwards, maybe the animation I think starts holding up better. But I think the animation in this looks way better than like Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast.
I mean, when you put this up against The Great Mouse Detective, which came out a year later, like it doesn't even hold a candle to the Black Cauldron,
No,
and that's a shame because it was beautiful. This was like 1983 to 87 was like the most beautiful time period in my mind for cinema because they were just merging practicals and CG and everything so well. But
yeah, and especially knowing that it took such a long time to produce this. I think I read that the actor who played Taron was 4 years older when the movie came out than he was when he recorded his lines. That means they were taking their time on this animation, and it shows in every frame of this movie just how much effort was put into it.
originally, they had approached Ralph Bakshi for this. He did the live, not the live, the animated Lord of the Rings movie
Oh yeah, and Cool World.
and Cool World, but I was going
Not yet.
aesthetically like,
He did a lot of weird movies.
yes, he did. But
He,
that,
I think he would that would have made sense. He would have been a good fit for this. I'm
yeah,
kind of glad that it wasn't him because his animation style has a very distinct look to it.
oh
Um,
yeah,
and I like this, I think, a little better than his style. But I think that would have been a good. He would have been a good choice to make this movie.
yeah. I think his response was just like, I don't make kids movies, and kids shouldn't watch my movies. Like,
Accurate.
yeah, and I was like, okay, yeah. He's like, if you're going as dark as me, I think you're making a mistake. But
It's good that he was self-aware. He's self-aware. He's still alive, I believe. Yeah, I think. I mean, like it would have looked really. It still would have looked really cool.
yeah,
He
I
made.
wish they
There's
would
some weird flights.
release like a nut, like do one of those like polished cuts that they do where they like restore it, but they're not going to restore this movie.
No, because there's no audience for it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna. I mean, like maybe your son is telling. Maybe they could find an audience, but I don't think it. I don't think it's going to find an audience at this point. Um, to warrant putting any effort into marketing it again. As a kid, it's not even that easy to find on Disney Plus. Like it took me a while, like clicking through and finally got to it. Although now it's showing me a bunch of other Disney Plus stuff from this general era, or like sword and sorcery sort of movies. I was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna go on a little bit of a kick with these.
You
Pick
know
a
I'm
couple
always
more.
down with that
No, I know. And hey, we got a show where we get to talk about them all the time.
all the time. Cool. All right, you got anything else you want to touch
No,
on?
I mean I'd say it's definitely worth if you love beautiful animation, definitely check this one out. Um, But yeah, the story was a
If
little
you like The
tighter.
Legend of Zelda, check this one out.
If you like Legend of Zelda, if you like 80s stuff, like it's right there, and you may have missed it entirely because it was not available for such a long time.
Do you ever look at
Um,
like an 80s metal poster and be like, that looks really cool? You might like the Black Cauldron.
right. But or go watch I mean, that's the thing is like it is a watered down like Bakshi would have been nuts. Like the Bakshi version of this would have been nuts. It's a
Uh-huh.
shame to see that like whatever version did exist got cut down and sanitized because I'd love to see the unsanitized version because I think it'd be incredible.
Yeah, apparently he cut 12 minutes and it like just destroyed the pace and the logic of the movie.
Oh yeah, no, because there were points where like more stuff should have happened at this point in the movie, and it was really starting to drag. And the movie's only an hour and 20 minutes. It's short.
Yeah, it shouldn't drag. You're covering two entire books.
Oh, it's like keep it moving. Yeah, and it makes sense if you cut out the interesting stuff.
Yeah,
Because
everything
it was
that
just
wasn't
yeah, if we cut out the violence.
plot critical cut. I know Lloyd Alexander watched it. He's the author of the books, and he was just like, I mean, I don't know what they made. It wasn't my books, but I really enjoyed it, and it was a good story. So the author was like, "No, they did a really good job. It's just not what I made. They could have basically just not paid me."
That's a shame.
Yeah. So, but even the author liked it. Usually the author's like, "It's not what I wrote. It's terrible." He was like, "It's not what I wrote, but they did a good job."
That's nice. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I'll take that. Okay. Where can they find us, Sam?
Oh, they can find us still on Facebook and Instagram. We're at RTSpiritsPod. Um, Leave us a comment. Let us know things that we should cover in the future. Let us know if you watched the Black Cauldron growing up.
As always, I'm Steve.
I'm Sam.
Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.